Chapter 27 Merry Christmas. Max. They had drawn lots, and Noah had ended up wearing the Santa suit. 3 pillows later, and he looked like he was in his 12th trimester. Max knew from prior experience the white beard was itchy, but Noah was taking it well, posing for pictures with the kids and handing out presents for the children's gift exchange. Gabe, Parker, Marshall, and their brides were grouped together, talking about rearranging their planned honeymoons since the passport confiscation. Max had overheard Marshall stating something about Jasmine having one last planned surgery before turning his attention back to his mother, who was sitting beside him. "Of course I will grieve for him," sighed Rachel to Dottie, patting her sister-in-law's hand. "Even if David was a scoundrel, I had been married to him for many years. I'm sorry to hear about James." Dottie nodded. Beverly reached over to take Dottie's other hand. "If either of you need anything, do let me know." "Please," sniffed Dottie. "It's Christmas. Let's just focus on the children." "Max, where are Ryder and Morgan?" questioned Rachel, looking over the crowd. "I had something for each of the grandchildren. Perhaps they can help me by distributing the gifts." "I will find them for you," promised Max. He rose from his seat, taking his mug of eggnog with him. Wandering through the crowd of family, he found his 2 sons, Morgan and Ryder, who were admiring the brace on Cece's knee. Max told the boys their grandmother wanted to see them, and they easily enough went to help distribute her small gifts.
"How is Kelly?"
asked Max to Caden. They had a text come through yesterday that baby Jackson had arrived. "Mom's great," answered Caden. "We got to speak with her a little bit on the phone. She says everything is good." "Jackson is super cute," added Cece with a grin. "We visited the hospital nursery after the doctor fixed my knee yesterday."
"See? Even Cece thinks new babies are adorable,"
Max casually mentioned to Paget as she happened to join them. "No more babies for us," replied Paget with a smile. Max sighed and wrapped an arm around his wife before giving her a kiss.
"You know what? I'm okay with that. We have 2 amazing boys."
"We do," agreed Paget, leaning into him. She turned her attention back to Cece and Caden. "Did you get to see Jackson?"
"We got a picture," responded Caden as he got out his phone to show them. "The nurse held him up to the window for us. Mom was sleeping and Dad said we should let her rest."
They all agreed Caden's new baby brother was indeed adorable while admiring the photo. "Oh, we have a runner." Paget scooped up one of Anne and Michael's triplets. Max could never tell them apart.
"I thought they were just walking,"
frowned Max. "I guess this one decided she could sprint," smiled Paget as she bounced the toddler on her hip. "Shall we go find your mama?" Max watched as Paget weaved her way through the crowd to find Anne chatting to the baby. He shoved the wistful idea of another little Max and Paget baby from his mind. Max could understand Paget's point of view. The boys were getting older. He and Paget were working full-time jobs they loved. He could admit to himself the thought of a little girl was missing. Max decided he and Paget would need to borrow from Anne and Michael more often. Perhaps he could convince Anne to lend Paget and him one of the triplets in turns.
"Did we find out who was expecting?"
questioned Everett from beside Max.
"Good grief, you scared me half to death,"
sputtered Max as he took a deep breath and gave his cousin an annoyed look.
"You were lost in your thoughts while staring at your wife," noted Everett. "I was," admitted Max. "As for the mystery pregnancy, no leads. I'm kind of disappointed." "Maybe it was one of the maids," a dissatisfied Everett said. "We did kind of assume it had to be one of the Rameslys women," nodded Max. "I suppose it could have been one of the maids." "Is that Lincoln Waters?"
wondered Everett. Max spotted Addison and Lincoln talking to Aunt Mary.
"Yep, he and Addison are married."
"What?" A surprised Everett looked at Max.
"When?"
Max shrugged.
"A while ago. They've been keeping it a secret. Guess it's out in the open now."
He could see Mary scolding Addison before Lincoln took charge of the conversation, gently talking to his new mother-in-law. Lincoln wrapped an arm around his wife as Mary touched a hand to her lips in delighted surprise. Addison nodded as she touched her own abdomen. Addison. Both Everett and Max stated at the same time. Did anyone bet on Addison being pregnant? Questioned Everett.
Nope, no one, smiled Max. I suppose everyone keeps their cash.
Probably a good thing, considering the state of most of the family's finances. Agreed Everett. Max nodded easily. It had been a fun diversion, and he wasn't sorry no one had won. He looked over the room and frowned as a thought came to him.
Hey, have you seen the Colburns? They do know that they were invited to the Christmas Day festivities as well, right?
I saw Drew and Bethany yesterday, replied Everett. They could be around somewhere.
Hey, Ben, have you seen the Colburns?
Asked Max as he laid a hand on Ben's shoulder as his cousin was about to walk past him.
Not today, answered Ben. The last time I saw Drew was when he said some Dr. Ersham had been kidnapped. I didn't catch the doctor's first name.
Max paled.
Dr. Ershman?
That was it, nodded Ben.
Holly. Her name is Holly, and she's Molson's girl,
revealed Max with some alarm.
What do you mean, kidnapped? Drew came to the security office to find out if we had any video of the bomber, or the guys who kidnapped Holly, replied Ben. Our systems were compromised. Everything was erased. I spent most of yesterday trying to get things back to normal. I suppose Drew might have said something further to Henry later. But the last I heard from him, Drew was going to report her missing to the police outside the hotel.
Why would anyone want to kidnap Holly? Wondered Everett.
Is her kidnapping related to the bombing?
I don't know, mused Max.
Do you know what room they are in? I'm going to find out if they're still at the hotel. We can help them.
They were on my floor, frowned Ben. Give me a moment. As Ben left, Noah came beside Max, divesting himself of the beard and Santa hat. This beard itches. He shrugged out of the Santa jacket and tossed it on top of a pile of 3 pillows. Noticing Max and Everett's serious demeanor, Noah asked, What?
Someone kidnapped Holly, said Max.
What? Noah repeated himself. Did you just say someone was kidnapped?
Holly,
supplied Everett.
It happened yesterday and we just learned about it.
Holly who? Asked Noah with a frown.
Ershman,
supplied Max.
She's Molson's girl, the doctor who was Bethany's psychiatrist for a while.
This is surreal. Noah shook his head.
A bombing, a murder, money laundering, and now kidnapping. How much can one family take?
I know the room number, and I have a master key card, stated Ben as he rejoined their group.
They haven't checked out, so I'm assuming Drew and Molson are still here.
How is Beth? Wondered Noah in concern.
As far as I know, she's okay, shrugged Max. Let's go find out.
The 4 of them headed to the hotel room registered to Drew. Ben knocked on the door.
Do you happen to have their phone numbers? Wondered Everett. If he isn't here, then we should call and see if there's anything we can do to help. I have Drew's phone number, confirmed Max.
I have Beth's, said Noah.
Weren't you and Beth engaged for a while before you married Elle?
Questioned Everett.
Yes, confirmed Noah. We're still friends.
Ben knocked on the door again.
He might not be here, or he isn't answering the door.
Max pulled out his cell phone, but the door across the hall opened. Can I help you? Questioned a tired Bethany as she stood in the doorway. She looked pale with dark smudges under her eyes. What is going on?
Did you even get the right room number?
Wondered Everett as he looked at Ben.
Ben gave Everett a dirty look. It's my system. I know who's where in this hotel.
We heard Holly was kidnapped, responded Noah, ignoring Everett and Ben. Is it true? Yes, sighed Bethany. She was taken yesterday. Bethany moved to the side so they could come into the hotel room.
Are you okay?
Questioned Noah in concern. I'm fine, stated Bethany. I'm worried for Holly. What is all this? Wondered Everett as he picked up some paperwork and eyed Molson, who was pacing the room, looking through some more papers.
A medical file?
Max frowned as he picked up a paper from the bed.
Blood type, genetic markers. What is going on?
Bethany gathered her thoughts. I think I should start from the beginning. Yesterday, when we went down to breakfast, Holly came to her room to get changed. She'd been with me overnight in my room, you see. Drew and I went down to breakfast, and later we were in the ballroom with all of you during all the excitement.
Yet Molson and Holly weren't there, remembered Ben.
Holly was kidnapped, softly stated Bethany. They took her, and left a medical file with a note. The note said, save her, save them both. There's also a picture of Holly, a Polaroid. She looked unconscious and was tied with duct tape.
Why would someone take her and give a medical file? Asked Everett. I know Molson is becoming a doctor, but that seems extreme.
When Molson helped Michael get out of prison on the false FBI charges, he made a bargain with a man named Tremblay, explained Bethany. Tremblay is one of the biggest gang leaders in the city. Molson owes him a favor. In exchange for a testimony that Michael was never involved in drug running, Tremblay has now called in his favor. The medical file is of his daughter. Drew said he had his gang members take Holly for insurance.
Where is Drew?
Questioned Noah. Trying to find Holly. He managed to get video footage from street cameras pulled and found a vehicle she was transported in. It's a stolen van. All the cops in the city are looking for it. He called me this morning to say they found the vehicle, but not Holly.
Bethany's voice cracked as she wiped a tear. Hey, Drew is a detective, right? Noah pulled her into a hug, rubbing Bethany's back. He will find her. Max shuffled through papers. Who is the patient?
Isla Tremblay. She's the gang leader's daughter, revealed Bethany. Molson has been trying to think of anything he could do which might help her. We've been calling doctors and hospitals. It must be the millionth time Molson's gone over the paperwork, but he can't find anything that would save her life.
What does she have? Wondered Ben. What condition or disease? Tay-Sachs disease, replied Molson, speaking for the first time since they had come into the room. A genetic disorder which affects the nervous system. It's caused by the absence of an enzyme, which aids in breaking down fatty substances called gangliosides. If they aren't broken down, they build up to become toxic in the brain and spinal cord, affecting nerve cell function. How old is the patient? Asked Noah. She's 3, responded Molson, looking at Noah for a long moment as something clicked in his brain. This ain't about me at all. I've been spinning my wheels, trying to figure out how to help this girl, and wasting my energy. Excuse me? Frowned Everett. What do you mean? I ain't a geneticist, stated Molson, staring at Noah. I ain't a scientist. I'm a resident who's just starting. Tremblay knows this. You, however, you're a scientist with a whole lab at Rameslys Pharma. You got a drug for this. Tremblay don't care about me solving it. He knows Rameslys Pharma has a solution, and it's my connection to the Rameslys family he needs. Do we have a drug on the market to help with Tay-Sachs disease? Wondered Max. No, not on the market, slowly answered Noah. You're testing a drug or a therapy, though, ain't you? Questioned Molson.
If we can give it to Isla, she could live, and Tremblay will return Holly, a hopeful Bethany said.
No, stated Noah, we can't do it. What? An incredulous Molson demanded. This is Holly we are talking about. Tremblay has her, and he doesn't make idle threats. If his daughter dies, he will kill Holly. Each drug needs to go through rigorous testing and evaluation, insisted Noah. At this point, the therapy we have is being used on mice. I haven't even seen the preliminary results yet. For all I know, it could be killing the mice.
Or curing them, said Bethany as she backed out of Noah's arms, wiping her eyes.
Even if it stops the progression of the disease, which is doubtful, the damage to the brain, spine, and nerves isn't reversed, explained Noah. There is no improved quality of life. You said this child is 3 years old. Most infantile Tay-Sachs disease patients die before or around age 5. At this point, she's probably unresponsive, may have trouble swallowing, may have seizures, be on a feeding tube. Just what sort of life would this kid have? Not only that, Rameslys Pharmaceuticals cannot release a drug to the public without FDA approval. If it ever got out into the press that we gave an untested drug to a child before human trials were approved, we could lose everything. There would be no Rameslys Pharma.
What about Holly? Asked Molson with a hitch in his voice. All Isla has to do is live, pleaded Bethany. If she lives, Tremblay will return Holly.
You don't know that, grimly stated Noah. You said the guy is a criminal. He may not keep his word. Not only that, there is no guarantee the drug will work to any degree. Are you seriously saying no? Questioned Molson. We cannot give an untested drug to a child, repeated Noah firmly. Noah? Max didn't know what to say. You, of all people, should know why we put safeguards into effect to prevent unready drugs from getting to the market, retorted Noah to Max. This isn't the same, stated Max. It's one drug for one child who is already dying. Please, begged Molson. No one needs to know. We don't need to notify anyone. Just a dose for her. There are protocols in place for thefts. Each vial must be accounted for, stated Noah. We can't just grab a dose from the lab with no one the wiser. I'm not going to risk the entire company for one person. We are responsible for hundreds of jobs, suppliers, and investors. I can't chance it.
I can't believe you would just let her die, accused Bethany through her tears. Noah ran a hand down his face, shaking his head.
You said Drew was looking for Holly, softly stated Everett. Maybe Bree and I can lend a hand. Max, text me Drew's phone number. I'm going to find Bree. Sure. Max took out his phone, tapping at the screen a moment. I think Noah, Michael, and I need to have a discussion. There is nothing to discuss, stated Noah flatly as Everett left the room. I'm the CEO of Rameslys Pharmaceuticals. We are not risking the company. Molson found a way to get Michael out of prison, Max reminded Noah. We owe him. You know that Michael is going to side with you, growled Noah as he ran a hand through his hair. I hate to be the bad guy, but we are talking about the chance of getting the company permanently shut down. Let's talk to Michael, decided Max. He grabbed Noah by the shoulder. We will be right back. Max steered Noah into the hallway. As the hallway door closed behind them, Bethany sat down in a chair, putting her head in her hands. They will do the right thing, Molson. Michael and Max will convince Noah. And if they don't? Noah's the only one with the security clearances. The only one who knows where things are in the lab, sighed Molson, tossing the clenched paperwork in his hand onto the bed to join the rest of the strewn papers from Isla's medical file. We can't do this without Noah. Maybe we can, slowly offered Ben. When Molson and Bethany looked at him, he explained. I can bypass security. I can erase the video or send it in a loop so it appears we were never there. I can find out where any of the medications are stored as long as they've been electronically entered into a log. I can even change the amounts on hand in the logs. I'm the one who takes care of their security measures, so I have full access. As long as you can verify the drug is correct, and we never run into any security personnel, we could potentially just take the drug. You mean steal it? Questioned Molson in disbelief. Yes, I suppose so, faintly stated Ben. Oh, my word, breathed Bethany, putting a hand to her mouth. Noah would know. After the fact, probably, nodded Ben. You would do this? Asked Molson. You would really do this? Ben hesitated, then nodded. It would be a simple theft. Then Rameslys Pharmaceuticals isn't at risk. Noah can easily state he didn't know what was happening to any FDA investigation. Noah wouldn't be at risk, nor Michael or Max. I'm pretty sure you're on board with the risk. Absolutely, nodded Molson. What about you? They're gonna find out you bypassed your own computer system. That is the sticky part, said Ben thoughtfully. If I do it, I'll end up leaving a signature that can be traced back to me. If that happens, I won't get jail time. I'll get a permanent non-negotiable position with the hacking department of the NSA, FBI, CIA, or some amalgamation of letters. If I can get one of the other dark web hackers to do it from another country, it will be virtually untraceable for any consequences.
Can you do that? Wondered Bethany.
It can be done, nodded Ben. Just consider this a plan B. I don't want to do it, but if we have to. Thank you, whispered Molson. Let's just hope the drug does help her, said Ben. Perhaps Max and Michael can convince Noah.
Maybe there is a third way, ventured Bethany.
Max,
grimaced Noah.
We can't do this. You keep saying that, but there has to be a way to keep the company safe from liability while still helping Holly,
calmly stated Max.
I don't see how,
sighed Noah as he followed Max down the hall to the elevator.
I highly doubt Michael is going to come up with an idea either. You never know.
Max pressed buttons, and they boarded the elevator.
We are talking about a woman whose life is in danger. We need to do what we can to help.
I understand, and I feel for her, said Noah. However, how do we risk the livelihoods of hundreds of people for one life?
If we can find a way without exposing the company, we should take it,
stated Max firmly, as they exited the elevator. It didn't take long to find Michael. He was off to the side of the group, listening to Jake and Sterling, while holding onto one of the triplets. The rest of the Rameslys were crowded around, chatting.
Michael, can we talk a moment?
Asked Noah quietly. Sensing something was wrong, Michael followed Noah and Max into the hall.
We have a situation,
began Noah. He explained, with Max's input, what they had discussed upstairs about Holly and Tremblay's daughter.
The problem is the liability it opens the company up to. We would risk being permanently shut down by the FDA should they find out. There's also no guarantee the drug works. I haven't read the latest reports, so I don't know how it's doing in the trials. We cannot fast-track it this time either,
a grim Max said.
It takes months for approval to be given for human trials. Holly doesn't have months. She needs our help.
Michael nodded. He gestured with one hand.
I agree,
concurred Max.
We need to help her. I want to help Holly as well, but not at the expense of the company,
sighed Noah.
Let the police do their job and find her.
Michael grimaced. He handed the toddler to Max, who easily took her. Using both hands, he tried to communicate to them.
You're going too fast.
A frustrated Noah frowned.
I get that you're upset, but you need to slow down.
Max gently bounced his niece as he tried to interpret Michael's now slower hand gestures.
Yes, I think the whole thing was a setup, too. The gang leader, what was his name, Tremblay? He had the idea Rameslys Pharma might be developing treatment for his daughter's disease. Somehow he found out about the treatment trials in our labs. He got Molson under his thumb, and now Molson really can't say no since Holly has been kidnapped.
This is a mess. Noah dragged a hand through his hair. Michael nodded.
We owe Molson a deep debt,
softly stated Max.
If it weren't for him, Michael might still be in prison. We need to help. If there were any way to help her without putting the company at risk, then I would happily agree, responded Noah. We need to let the police handle this.
What if there was a way to help her without any liability to Rameslys Pharma? Asked Bethany. Michael, Noah, and Max turned to see Ben, Bethany, and Molson standing in the hall behind them. Ben can hide any evidence of any missing vials of the drug. He has the computer know-how to alter the logs and the security cameras, calmly stated Bethany. Molson can administer the dosage. You know where everything is in the lab, Noah. You can get in and out without any issues.
The scientists working on the project are going to notice when vials go missing, protested Noah. For one dose, they are likely to chalk it up to a wrong count, or misplacing something, countered Ben. This is a therapy, grimaced Noah. It needs to be administered the lifetime of the patient. We would need multiple doses. Then we treat it as a theft, offered Ben. Once the lab notices the doses are missing, we report it. It draws suspicion away if Rameslys Pharma voluntarily reports the theft. If you don't want to get the Tay-Sachs drug, I will do it, inserted a serious Molson. Just draw me a map. You can even turn me in after Holly is freed. I don't care if I go to jail or have a record if Holly is okay.
Molson, your career, protested Bethany. You have to have a clean criminal record to be a doctor.
I will be the fall guy, repeated Molson. Just let me steal the stuff and use it. Then once Holly is safe, you can turn me in. The company can't be held liable. It was all on me. You can even record it on security video. I don't care as long as Holly is okay. Just stall any investigation until Holly is returned. What if the drug doesn't work? What happens to Holly then? Questioned Noah. Tremblay is a dangerous man. He don't like failure, scowled Molson. I expect he will bury her somewhere. You mean he would kill her? Questioned an alarmed Max. Molson gave a tight nod. Michael laid a hand on Molson's shoulder. Okay, nodded a reluctant Noah. We'll do it your way. Molson will take the vials. Ben covers your tracks. We cooperate with a theft investigation. If the FDA becomes involved or gets too much, I will turn you in, Molson. Understood, agreed a resolute Molson. Hopefully it doesn't come to that, said Max. We will help you out however we can. You and Drew are part of our family. I appreciate it, Molson softly replied. Let me know when you're ready, and I'll make myself available to help with the security, offered Ben. I had better go find Elle and see what trouble the boys are into, decided Noah. I'm going to give Drew a call to update him on what's happening here, softly said Bethany. Perhaps he'll have some news. I'll go with you, stated Molson. The group dispersed, leaving Max and Michael. Michael held out his hands for his daughter. Oh, no, answered Max, moving slightly away. She and I are getting along just fine. You can have her back when she starts crying. He patted his niece on the back, while Michael gave him a wry look. I'm going to borrow you and your sisters, promised Max, as he made faces at the toddler. Paget and I are great babysitters. Michael had a half smile and made a gesture. Of course I know her name, protested Max. It's Emma. Michael shook his head no, amused at Max's mistake. I was just kidding. She's Isabella, guessed Max. He was rewarded with a nod from Michael. Surprise, everyone! The group looked behind them to find Dylan and Kelly approaching. Dylan was carrying a car seat with a tiny baby in it. Wow, you made it, Max greeted Dylan. This must be little Jackson. Kelly didn't want him to miss Christmas, smiled Dylan. He held up the car seat so they could easily see the sleeping baby. We're going to visit for a little bit, then get some rest. I just had to come back to the hotel to show him off, admitted a tired but happy Kelly. He's just the cutest baby. He is, agreed Max, cooing over Jackson. There were handshakes and congratulations offered to the couple. Dylan carefully took the newborn out of the baby carrier, cradling Jackson in his arms. He and Kelly went to join the rest of the Rameslys in the ballroom. I think this is going to go down as one of the most exciting Ramsley Christmases yet, murmured Max, as he watched his family gather round, chatting to Kelly and Dylan. Who would have thought just a few years ago we were all mostly bachelors? Now most of us are settled and have families. Family is the best Christmas gift there is. Michael had a nod. They watched the kids playing with their new toys. Their mother was happily conversing with the aunts, holding court in their own area, as Dylan approached them with the newest member of the Ramsley family. Max's eyes were drawn to Paget, who chatted with some of the other ladies in the group. Hands down, even after 2 children, she was still the most beautiful woman in the room, in his opinion. Max really was the luckiest guy. Merry Christmas. Max gave his brother a smile before heading into the ballroom to join the family. Thank you for listening to The Wedding, Book 10 of the Rameslys Brothers series. I'm currently writing Book 11 and hoping to have it published and out this fall
of 2024. In the meanwhile, you can listen to Kissing Katie, which will be coming soon. Jackson Davis is in a panic. 7 years ago, he sent a manuscript to an editor as a joke. Now he's becoming a famous romance writer under the pen name J.D. Emerson, and his editor wants him to go on a tour, including an interview on a daytime talk show. The problem? He let everyone think that he is a woman writer. Katie Sutton is just not making it in life. Her car is an oil-gulping rust bucket. Her hours are being reduced at the daycare center where she works. Plus her rent has gone up. She has always had a crush on Jackson, her friend Trent's older brother, but he sees her as he always has, Trent's buddy. Katie might just be the perfect answer to his problems if Jackson can get her to accept a position to pose as his pen name and do the tour for him. She could be the face of his muse. From mishaps, writer's block, and stage fright, Jackson and Katie are spending a lot of time together. For the first time, Jackson is really looking at Katie. What he sees makes him think of taking the romance off the paper and into reality.